We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bit of Chat. Is your host Luke. TJ is away this week, but we have an incredible, stunning guest on today. Her name is Caitlynn Henry, and she is quite an accomplished human. She originated from South Africa, moved to Australia when she was young, and is now an occupational therapist. With a very successful career. She's also a model, a social media influencer. She can dance. And she's also was Miss Global Australia in 2016. And she is currently a Miss Universe Australian Queensland finalist.
I am.
Is that right?
Yes.
So, welcome.
Thank you. You made me sound amazing.
Well, you are. So... first of all, we'll get straight into it. Tell us about your story. You were born in South Africa. Is it South Africa?
Yeah, in Johannesburg.
In Johannesburg.
Yeah.
What made the family move over here, and what was life? How long were you in South Africa for?
I was born in Johannesburg, and it's a pretty crazy story actually why we decided to immigrate to Australia. So my dad was in the police force growing up. A bit of a menace, as he is, and he was out one night with his dad. So my grandpa being my grandpa started an argument in a nightclub, and security didn't like that too much. And in South Africa, similar to America, everybody has guns.
Yep.
So as you can imagine, it just broke out with my grandpa, my dad, and his brother.
What, full club shooting?
At the party.
Oh
at the club. So I still have the bullets, to this day. My dad and my grandpa were shot, and my dad...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I just thought it was... My dad always used to tell me it was like a shark attack or something, like a scar on his stomach, but they've got the same. And...
fucking God.
He had to,
dropping
drag my granddad out of there and drive my granddad in the back seat, holding his stomach while he was shot to the hospital.
Where was your dad shot?
In the stomach as well.
So they're both shot in the stomach?
Yeah.
Oh my.
So they the way my dad explains it is hilarious, trying to pull this table over him to just, completely cover them from the bullets from security, because my grandpa had made a bit of a mess for himself. So anyway, that happened, and they recovered, both of them, to tell the tale.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty common actually
in
South Africa. It's like another world over there.
Yep.
We had 6-foot walls, barbed wire fences, electric fences, and they would still get in.
Oh my God. Because I've heard that they even have moats around them, and then they've got crazy dogs. What are they? My sister's got one.
Oh, the giant
Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Massive.
Yeah.
Will eat people.
Yeah.
Kind of dogs.
They're crazy.
Yeah. So we had gates, literally prison gates on our windows, and ones that my mum used to lock us off at night, separate gates to the rooms and separate to downstairs. So as you can imagine, it's not really a life back there.
Yeah, especially being a female.
Well, that was my dad's reasoning. Having us two girls, he was it was just getting too bad, and he obviously had that encounter when he was younger, and he was I just do not want us to grow up in a world like that.
Wow.
So we kind of just packed everything up and had never been to Australia before. Our family friends were also coming here, so we just thought, yep, why not?
What was the reason for Australia?
They were coming here. They had been so we were thinking of America or the Gold Coast, and they had been here before, and they said it's quite similar to being back home, obviously, just safety-wise.
Yeah,
so much
just
better.
a little bit. Oh my God.
It's honestly crazy. Even going back every year to see family was just, it's literally another world. I cannot even fathom. People think taking for granted driving with your windows open, or driving with jewelry on. I would just never do, because they'll just chop your fingers off at the traffic lights.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is
wild.
another world. Because I've been to some rough places like Jamaica, which is probably the closest to South Africa in regards to violence. And that was the first time I ever had an attempted robbery on me. But it didn't work because I was a 19-year-old university student in the US with $180 US to my name for the entire week for spring break. I was like, I'll fucking kill you if you touch me, and he like ran away. So, but yeah, like.
But it's bad. And like, so that was, my dad's reasoning was like I've got to go now.
So did that happen and then he left straight away?
No, so that happened a couple of years before.
Yep.
And then there was lots of other things that had happened, like lots of, we were hijacked at gunpoint. And my mum couldn't get my sister out the car, my older sister. And then after that, it was in our driveway, like stripped my mum and my dad down naked. They were on their knees outside of the car. My sister was in the car and they just have no value for life. They just didn't care whether my sister was in the car or not in the car. And they popped, like my mum was like, laying face down on the ground naked, just begging. And they popped the gun on my dad's head and my dad thought, that this is it.
Oh my fucking God.
And he was like, again, I didn't even say anything this time. After that, they just kind of like, no.
Were you there?
I wasn't, no.
Oh
so it was
my
just
God.
my sister
Wow.
in the car. She was very, very young. But after that, he was just like, no.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's
Fucking
one too many
hell.
times. And the next time is probably not going to be okay. So.
Well, he escaped twice.
Yeah, so third time was not a charm. We just thought, we'll just come back out.
That is absolutely psycho. Okay. What a way to open. Oh my God. So you moved over here. How old were you when you guys moved over?
So I've been here for ages. Like I've done all my schooling and stuff. I was probably about 4.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hence why you've got a full Australian accent.
Yeah.
And how was school for you?
School was interesting. I went to a couple of schools growing up. And I was in and out of like getting bullied quite often.
Really?
Yeah, for the strangest things. I guess when I was in year 5, like I didn't really understand why they were bullying me. I don't know if it was because I was like the nice kid or like I was happy to be friends with everyone, that they just thought I was like an easy target. So I moved schools then.
What were they bullying you on?
I don't know. I don't even remember in year 5. I just remember like getting through like food thrown at me.
Oh my, girls are the meanest bitches in the world.
Girls are psycho. Yeah, like honestly, girls are really mean.
Yeah.
And really cruel. And then I had to move again in year 10 because I got booked on a modelling shoot when I went down to Sydney for like one of my first ones ever.
Yep.
And then when I came back to school on Monday, just no one wanted to speak to me. I went and sat down at the table. They all got up and left, and it was very awful. Like just snickering and like,
It's almost like they're jealous of you being beautiful.
Oh, and I was like, it was one, it was my very first one in year 10. Like I didn't know what it would lead to.
Yeah.
No one did. And it was just awful. Like the commentary or like the sly comments, like, or just, continuously walking away from me was, just.
Girls are such bitches.
Yeah, and they do it very slyly. I would have rather have someone like hit
Call
me
you
or
out.
something and taken it out on me and then been over with it. But it went on for weeks and months and like even out of school and
Oh my God.
things like that. So I had to move again. And then the last 2 years of school were awesome. Like I was with my cheerleading friends and it was so much fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So finished school. Before I always ask this question, were you a good student?
Yes, I wish. I had like one detention in high school and I cried my eyes out and I thought I was the worst person ever. And looking back, I wish I caused a little bit more trouble, but no.
And
never.
good academically as well?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I did very well.
Perfect student. That's why the girls were jealous. So finished school and then what did you do after that? Like gap year or did you go straight into study or work?
So finished school. I went straight to studying. I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I always knew I wanted to do something with kids and something in like a health kind of role. And I didn't actually know about OTs. I was looking at being a pediatrician. But then I saw my brother go through the whole doctor study and thought, that's a little too long.
It's a lot of
for
time.
me. I don't want to be, having to start a family and still be studying at like 28 to specialize, like, and then you still got years to go. So I thought, like my dad's friend was an OT and I just kind of was like, yep, that sounds like me. I'm going to go and do that. So I studied for 2 years and then I had to take a gap year forcibly with my uni course convener against my will.
Okay. So first of all, do you want to explain what an OT is for all of our listeners? Because I know a lot of people are too embarrassed to ask what it is, but explain what an occupational therapist is.
So
and what you do.
Yeah. So if you ask a lot of different people, They have lots of different ideas. I've had like, oh yeah, OT's just like physio, which I'm like, that's pretty easy for people to understand. So if I don't feel like a conversation, I'll just, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had like, oh, you deal with like workplace health and safety. An occupational therapist, helps with like, occupational health and safety in the workplace. And I'm like, kind of, not really. Some can.
Yeah.
But in OT, so an occupational therapist is, anything someone wants, needs, or has to do in a day. So that's like in my role right now, working with kids. I've got kids for feeding, toileting, handwriting, posture, cognitive, problem solving, things like that. So it's really, really diverse. Any like an adult one can be like a physical therapist, or like helping them live functionally and independently on their own.
And how do you do that? Are you like training them and making them do exercises, or like how does it work?
Yeah, so it depends on, I guess, what they're coming to you for. If you were in like a rehab.
Use yours.
Mine?
Yeah, because that's obviously what you're specializing in.
So with the kids, they're coming to us for like they're learning the ways to do tasks or how to do tasks. So we're coaching like the families and the parents to help them do it at home, working with the teachers to help them do it at school. But they'll come to us like say for handwriting, and I'll sit down and like we assess what their problem is, like if it's their fingers, if it's their fine motor, if it's like their recall, if it's the way that they're sitting. So we just change the way they're doing things and teach them the new way to do it. And if they haven't developed that skill yet, then we're working with them from the bottom up.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Is it like just normal kids who are having these issues, or as kids with disabilities, or like what's the scope?
So there is, in my current role, I've got kids that are like neurotypical. So like your standard kids that just have some problems, and they'll kind of come into therapy maybe for a couple of months or a year at a time. And then if they work towards their goals and achieve those, then you can like discharge them and they just come back if they need to. But usually, it's I'd say like 97% of my kids are all have some sort of disability or special needs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And with the kids who are normal, who have those impairments, just like with writing, etc., for those fine neural skills, is it just because they weren't taught that properly, or is it just like actual physical development?
So it's a bit of both. I guess. I guess like their childhood would play a massive part of it. But some of them is just like if they've inherited something, or if it is like a physical impairment that's so minor that's only come out later in life when they've started doing those things that they just need a little bit of help with to stay up to date with their peers. Like I think I have kids that just have like a little bit of like their joints are super flexy. So for them to hold a pencil is really, really hard.
But I don't know if I missed it, but what made you choose OT? Because like you weren't going to get into being a doctor, but like were you doing just, was it a Bachelor of Science or something you had to do?
No.
Or it's actually a specialized?
I was pretty lucky at most of the unis. When I started studying, occupational therapy was kind of, like your second kind of degree. You had to do something like a bachelor of something first, like an undergrad degree. And OT was a postgrad. But when I had started, I was probably like the second cohort to go through Griffith down at the Gold Coast just for a straight bachelor of occupational therapy, which is a 4-year degree. And why I wanted to do that was, I just was kind of looking at my options of how I could still be involved with children. I didn't really want to do like the teaching. I wanted to do something in healthcare. And then, my dad's friend was an OT with adults. And she was just explaining to Dad like what her days look like and what the need for more OTs were. So when I actually signed up for the course, I was like, I don't really, for the first 2 years, I still don't actually really know what I was doing, like, or what OT really was. Like, there was lots of theory and lots of frameworks, but I was still like, to have that definition to give to people of what an occupational therapist is, like, or was, I still didn't know. And it was only when I started doing like hands-on placements that I was like, like this is where I want to be.
And what made you want to work with kids? Because obviously passionate about it. If you were everything you're looking at was with working with children.
I feel like everyone that knows me, like since I was very little, like I just have a pull, like a gravitation towards children. And my mum always used to say, like, growing up, if I went to like random events or like modelling events, I don't know what it was, but like children with special needs in the vicinity, if it was charity events or whatever it may be, were just kind of pulled, always seemed to be like attracted towards me. Like they would just, I don't know, my mum was like, you just have like a special gift and they just warm to you.
Around you.
Yeah, like they just seem to come to you, like you have to do something with that. And growing up, like it was more evident going to charity events and modelling things, and I just could see it for myself, and I was like, I've got a natural ability with them. I think maybe because I wasn't like, some people could be quite scared of them or, not know what to do or what to say, but I felt like from a young age I was just really natural with kids, so
very cool.
Kind of stuck.
Yeah. And so where like career-wise into the future with OT, where can you go to, or where do you want to end up ultimately?
I would like to end up owning my own like practice, like clinical practice.
Amazing.
But still being like, I want to be in that director role. So hopefully maybe towards the end of this year is what I'm looking at to start that journey.
Awesome.
Yeah. And have like just like a team under me that practice exactly like I want to practice. Or have the same views that I do with families and build that bond as well.
Amazing. That's very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's a big year.
Oh, yeah. The last two have been big, but this next chapter, I think, for everyone is rocking. Like, everyone I'm talking to at the moment, they're just like getting back on the horse and starting to do some really cool things.
Yeah, I feel like we couldn't. We're all playing catch up.
Fucking lockdowns. So with, when did social media start with you? How old were you when social media was on?
I remember in grade 8 finding out what Instagram was to like a Cody Simpson photo. So typical.
Shout out to Cody.
Yeah, my man. If you're out there, if you're listening. I don't know. I just remember like nobody really knew what it was. Like we were finding out about it and one of our friends had it and I hadn't really posted anything. And we all were on the MSN, like that was kind of the only thing.
Yep, Messenger.
Yeah, like you'd go onto school and that was kind of the only thing you had, and Facebook was kind of there, but it wasn't anything near where it was now. And I remember sitting at school in year 8 thinking, oh my goodness, like I don't even know, why would people want to post photos of themselves like all the time? And here I am.
Well, the funny thing is, because I was over at college when Facebook started, so like literally as it was rolling out across campuses, and it was just like either picking up girls or parties. That was what it was literally designed for. Essentially, it was, and I didn't realize that until I watched the movie, how early I was in there. But Instagram was before Facebook bought it out, was meant to be this artistic photography space where people took amazing shots using the different filters for art.
Kind of like Tumblr?
Yeah, I think it was.
Sort of meant to be like that.
Yeah, sort of meant to be like that. And it was meant to be like all done with professional cameras and then uploaded. Oh, no. Sorry. It started off where it was meant to be all on your phone and seeing how good your camera was. That. But the camera was shit back then. That's why they had the filters. But now it's literally just turned into like documentation of your life or...
Yeah. It's really, I do agree, because even when I was looking at photos or trying to take those cool photos when it first started, and I cringe looking back at them, but everyone has them.
They all do. I haven't deleted one photo of mine.
No, neither of them. I was it's me, whatever.
It's a time capsule.
It is, it's me. Like, who cares? If people are going to judge you for that now, like I'm sure you could dig up some dirt. Yeah, I'm sure I could dig up some lovely photos of them too. But yeah, I do look at like the photo, like the filters or like, the artistic kind of vibe. It was definitely like the Tumblr kind of era when it started. And it was a very, I guess I can only speak for myself, but like the way you tried to do it was very poor effort. Like it was just not the Tumblr.
Well, everyone was
professional vibe that was there.
Yeah.
We were learning. Yeah. We were learning.
And so when did you start to get a decent following on social media?
I would say when I have had like lots of friends that were famous or kind of were in the famous circles. Mm-hmm. And I think my followers really started to grow when like a guy that I was really good friends with was in the limelight. And as people do and as girls like to do, and I'm guilty of this in the past, they like to stalk whoever is in contact with them. So it just came out that I was like doing shoots with him and modeling shoots and hanging around him and was family friends with him. And the people he was friends with, like the Kardashians and Gigi Hadid and like Cody Simpson, they had all a massive following. So I think like when he put up like a birthday thing for me, that's when people were like, oh, hang on, like we want to see.
Who's this?
She seems to be always in the picture with him. We want to see like what she's about. So it started to grow slowly then. And then obviously when I got more into modeling, it kind of just,
Was there a point where it just exploded? Because I remember one of our guests, Teddy Briggs, who was on...
was he on Love Island?
Love Island.
Yeah.
He was talking about how like it just exploded overnight. Was it the same for you?
It was bizarre. Like I went downstairs to my mum and like you just kept refreshing the page and it just kept like jumping by like the hundreds and then by like the thousands. It was just really weird.
What was the event? It was at that birthday photo.
It was a birthday photo and then like
Who was the person who posted it?
He's Jake Thrupp.
Yeah.
He's like Cody's best friend when Cody blew up.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was over in like he was here. He lives here.
Yep.
But he went to America with Cody and was seen with like the Jenners, like Kendall, Kylie Jenner, which was very annoying. I was like, take me, please. And then Cody was dating Gigi Hadid for a while, so because he was in those circles. And then I obviously was doing like modeling with him and like hanging out with him. I think it just flew on to me, and like it was a birthday thing, and then it was my 16th birthday party that was like that weekend after that he was at. So yeah, I think just after then people kind of like started picking up, and then they'd like to see if we were more than friends and like followed the gossip. And we were actually followed at an airport.
What, by paparazzi?
And like, no, by girls, like teenage girls, and like was stopped at the airport and asked for like autographs and photos. And
what?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, and like I remember getting like fan mail, and I've still got it.
That's
like
so
to this
cool.
day. Yeah, it was really awesome.
What were they writing to you? Like, what did they write?
It was just like a teenage girl from, I think from Norway somewhere, like really far.
What?
And she was just saying that she was really inspired, and like I'm always like pretty natural and myself, and she always, that's what she wants to be when she gets older, and she just wanted to tell me that and send me something. Yeah, it was really lovely. So I've kept it because like that, you know, on your bad days, like that keeps
that's so
keeps you going. Yeah.
And so what was the aftermath of your like your social media presence / growth? Like, did it change your life like it did Teddy's?
It did. It definitely did for the positive. Like I had really good things, but I definitely think you find out who your true friends are. And people
elaborate on that.
Love to say negative things like I bought my followers, or I'm not like, I don't really deserve them at that point, or like really nasty things. And yeah, like my photos weren't good enough to have that many people interested, or what I was doing wasn't good enough. So it was, and like people pretty close to you that would say it in like joking manners, that kind of was like one too many times.
Yeah.
That you're
They're the
like,
people you cut.
Yeah, so like and I mean, when it first happened, I was still in like my teenage years, so obviously it felt like a bigger deal than what it is now.
Fucking huge.
Yeah, like it felt awful.
You're a teenage girl getting massive followers, like, and it's a pretty big deal.
And like early on too, yeah, like I feel like it wasn't really as common as it was now to be like that presence. So I was kind of embarrassed of it in a way. And many times I like when you hear the people speak like that are close to you, I have thought about just totally wiping it and starting from scratch. And then I just think, you know what? No, screw them. Like, this is me.
Good on you.
Yeah. Like, this is, if you don't like it, then don't follow me. Don't be a part of my life. Like, you're either with me or you're not
100%.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like, they have the choice to follow you. If they don't like what you're fucking doing,
and it's always the ones that don't follow you but are always checking your stories.
Yeah, but they're losers.
So I'm like, yeah, it gets to you and I'm like, you know what, whatever. If you've got something to say.
Was there a moment that revelation came up? Like, do you remember exactly when you had that moment?
No, I think it's a lot as you like mature and you realize there's bigger things to life than, like, for me, I've got lots of other things going on other than my social media. So I was like, you know what? I'm not taking it seriously as people would think. I probably should take it more seriously, but whatever. Like, it's me, it's here. If you don't like that, then see ya.
Cool. Did you get much hate? Like actual psycho DMs or like crazy men?
Yes. The amount of times I get like the old men or like
what do they say
robots,
to you? What do they say to you?
Like my message requests is hilarious. Like I could be everybody's sugar. I've got so many sugar daddies out there. Like I wouldn't have to work a day in my life ever again.
Yeah, I just need a Birkin bag, mate, and I'll send you a picture of my foot.
Yeah. I wish like I'm sure I have a picture of my feet, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're really weird and like they comment on things and like I have had a couple of hates where my family likes to like arc up and like have had like a troll war with my brother-in-law. He's really, really protective and he's like, he goes back at them and like puts them in their place if they say anything or they comment on anything. And we did for a bit and then you're like, oh, they're winning if you bite into that.
Absolutely.
So we now just say the comments to ourselves and like a family group chat and we just leave them, whatever it is, we just leave it. If it's really nasty, I'll just delete it or inappropriate. But yeah, I'll just leave it, whatever. I don't actually care.
So guys, stop being fucking creeps, number one. And that's not how you slide into DMs.
No, it's definitely, and I feel like if you're at my dad's age or older, I'm not interested.
Yeah, you got to be a billionaire to be.
Oh, that's
yeah. You
depends. Okay.
Yeah, you got to be a billionaire or be able to provide the lifestyle for that kind of return.
Yeah. What's my return on investment?
Because that's fucking nasty. If I had old women. I'm sorry I said that. That was really bad. Old women rolling into my DMs, I'd be like, love, you're too old.
And then I'm like, I used to try and be like, I don't want anyone to think I'm ignoring them or like ghosting them. So I used to reply to everyone. And then I was like,
as soon as you reply, you're on.
Yeah, I was like, no, like they don't deserve that. If they're asking that of me, then no. Like, no, whatever. You can just stay in the requests.
What's the weirdest message you've ever received?
Oh, the weirdest? I don't know if I could say that.
You can say anything you want on this.
I have been asked for like well-worn items of clothing. And they're willing to pay for like unwashed, worn
underwear.
Well-worn underwear from, you know what? And that's just like from the weirdest photos. Like I'll put up like a dress photo or something or like a gym photo and it's like in response to me being in this dress for long periods of time or like sweating.
It
I
blows my mind. I don't understand, number one, how the fuck a dude can be turned on by that. Full stop. It's nasty, right?
It is.
Even when you're
nasty.
dating the hottest girl in the world, if she's sweating before you do anything like that, have a shower. Like it's.
But like I just no.
But how did they even discover they like that? Like I
think there's some really weird people, and there's lots of like dark caves that people are living in to find that attractive.
Like,
and I was like, what? Like, and I had someone ask me, and like naive Caitlynn didn't cotton on until too late in the conversation. Like they asked me, I had put up, it was actually not even like on social media. This is how weird things get. It was on Facebook Marketplace and I was selling one of my old dresses and this person, older male, decided to screenshot the photo and like zoom in on a section, and the section was like my feet, and I have worn these heels probably 1,000 times. So you could see
they were well worn.
Yeah, they were well worn, and he liked that. And I didn't cotton on until like, and I was like, oh, sorry, no, the shoes like are not for sale. Like it's just trying to be so polite. Mate. It's just the dress, like, and then he was like, no, like I don't think you're getting at, like I don't want brand new shoes. I need like the grottiest, smelliest shoes. Like if he could see my sweaty footprint, like that was better for him.
What the actual
So my older sister's like...
It's quite flattering. You're like...
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, like, sure. I was like, whatever. Like,
yeah, they're $500, mate.
Yeah, my sister's like, how much can we charge for this? My sister's like, I'm a size 10. I've got very well-worn, disgusting, filthy shoes. Ask him if he likes those.
There are girls that I know for a fact who earn like $20K a month.
Good on them.
Selling that stuff on... OnlyFans.
And if it's just your feet, it's just your feet.
Yeah.
Anyone, well, you know, people are going to put that on Instagram for free. Why not monetize that?
Just grots though.
Yeah, the type of people asking that, or like, and then he'd ask.
Do you stalk them back and like look who they are?
Yeah, sometimes. Or like he'll say like, here's like, you know, the guys will say like, here's my PayPal, like it's legit, blah, blah, blah. And then like you Google him and you're like, oh, that explains.
Yeah, I'm not giving you everything.
Yeah, no.
Are they wealthy? Are they poor? Like what is there a type?
There's I feel like
kind?
a lot. Oh, I feel like there's like a good range. Like some of them you probably wouldn't expect. Like they're quite like, you know, like the
like a corporate
typical, like,
businessman.
yeah, like the bussman.
That
and
is
like
so
that's
funny.
like a stress relief, like asking like for the sorts of things.
Smelling shitty feet. Oh my God.
Like what has your life gotten to that brings you pleasure?
Yeah, that's a bad place.
Like I just don't know. And it's just like still my day. Like to this day, my sister and I just really laugh thinking about like wanting to send her, not even my shoe. The thing is like, if I sent these people the items of clothing or my shoes, my grotty shoes, how are they going to know it's actually mine?
They don't.
Well, that's
it's
it.
Just trust. It's
so like it's like sending my sister's shoes. They were like, whatever. Like, yeah, send it.
Oh, did you end up doing it? That's a yes?
Yeah, we did.
How much money did you make?
My sister and I thought it was like the funniest thing ever.
It is the funniest thing ever.
It was hilarious. Like he was paying and like would say like put the shoes on with like stockings or without stockings or like this type of stockings. And my mum would kill herself laughing. Like it was like a running joke in our family for a fair while. And we only sent that one filthy pair of her size 10, 11 shoes from Target, Teejay. So they weren't even like a special pair, like flat sandals. And he paid for them. And we were like, no, this is too much. Like $100.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like $1,000.
No, we didn't. I didn't want to do that. I couldn't. And like per photo, he'd pay like another amount. And we just, it was hilarious. Like, so like hats off to girls that do that. But I just thought about someone with these shoes or with these photos. And I just... Yeah, after that I was like, you know what? No, this is a bit strange.
It's just weird. So with your, because I think you get like 80,000 followers now, with your following, like how are you leveraging that to like do good things or do what you want to do? Like, because it's a power in today's society.
Yeah.
And I know Teejay and I talked about this on I think 2 weeks ago, just like how social media and influencers and sporting and celebrities should they be treated differently for on what they post versus a normal person, a civilian? Or like, do you have that mentality where you're cautious of what you post, where it aligns with your brand, etc.?
Yeah, I definitely think getting into social media shouldn't be taken lightly. Like you said, I do think someone with the power to influence others and like a lot of other people, like mass groups, definitely should be cautious of what they're posting because, it just... And you see it happen all the time. Is it
for you personally though, so you're not getting attacked by like the media or anything? Or is it because, like for me, I am who I am. I'm very comfortable with that. Not everyone's going to like me. So everything I put out into the world, including like on podcasts and stuff, that's out there now. I can't take it back. So I'm very comfortable with doing that. And I'll put whatever the fuck I want on there because that's me as my brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and for you, because obviously you a little bit more PG friendly than me.
I think, but although I had to like figure out what was my brand growing up.
Yeah.
And I think it was very easy, to like...
How old were you?
Change that.
When you're going through this? So you were 16 grade 8, so 13 when you started social media. But when was it actually like a business or a leverage for you to get modeling and all that?
Yeah, I guess for me, I always, like my parents drilled into me when it was first starting that you have to have a backup plan. And we didn't realize, I guess, at that point how far Instagram would go. And like that is now people's full-time job. So I think if I had persisted as a full-time career, it probably would be my main job now. Not that I regret doing it, like having my OT job on the side. Like that's what gives me happiness
in life.
Well,
you've been productive and giving back to the community in a
yeah. So like that's,
with a real skill set, you know what I mean?
Like, Instagram's my fun kind of like modeling's my fun job. And like Instagram is just like a hobby for me now. And I do, like, I think, building like who I wanted to be or what I wanted to like my brand to be is very PG, because I think I am, like I'm pretty, I don't know what the right word
nice.
is. I think, like I feel like if I posted things that were like, you know, even to this day, it's hard to struggle. Like I'll go to a photo shoot or like I'll shoot for a brand and I'm trying to be like the it girl or like the cool girl or like very different, like punk kind of rock. Like when I shoot stuff and I'm like, I don't know, it just doesn't suit me. Like it just doesn't suit me. Like I'm not like that. Like, or try and be like look mean or like, I just can't. So like for me, I was like, you know what? I'm with my brand growing up, like, and even now, like I'm going to post things that feel, you know, natural and authentic to me. And like, I'm just silly and goofy and giggly. And that is just me. Like, and like, I feel like people, it's a compliment when I get to a shoot and they say like, oh, you actually look like your Instagram. And I'm like,
yeah, mate.
like, you know, like I do color, like, you know, I'll touch the colors on them, but I try very hard to not fall into the trap of like, you know, actually editing
like body modification.
Yeah, because I think that puts a really, like on yourself, like that changes like your perspective of you, and then you're not happy with the person you see in the mirror. And, but yeah, I definitely think I'm very PG. And it's easy these days, like it's normal to post like very revealing or raunchy
Well, Instagram is
things.
pretty much like up. I don't understand Instagram and Facebook. They have the tightest restrictions over pornography. However, it's like a fucking smut book.
Like I've
is.
had things reported for posting on my Instagram with my niece, and that's pornography. And I'm like, oh, like child exploitation. And I'm like, we're literally fully clothed, like, and on like TikTok, and it keeps getting taken down. And I'm like, I don't understand how something like this is taken down or like goes against their guidelines. And I'm like looking at girls' whole feeds and I'm like,
yeah, like you can literally see everything.
There's nothing to the imagination, like all for you, girl. But how is something like that get, you know, how does that get taken down? And I actually this year with Miss Universe, I had to post, one of the sponsors is a lingerie brand.
Yep.
Which was something
very
different for me. It's Savine Lingerie.
Okay.
Which is awesome. And their stuff is amazing. But posting that content on my social media was very daunting.
Out of your comfort zone.
I don't know. Like, and I think like, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's not me. My followers like don't expect that. And then when I got it, I was like, I really had to knuckle down and plan out and create a shoot or a photo that still fit within my PG brand. So go and check it out. I think I did pretty well.
Yeah.
You can see the product, but it's not, I didn't want to just be standing in it or on a bed in it.
Yeah.
Like
not a seductive.
Not those kind of, I just think that wasn't what my brand was. And it is hard. Like, working with different brands or like having brands ask you and that don't align with what you think and you have to turn it down. And then you see someone else doing it and like it's doing really well for them and you're like, oh, should I?
No, I think
have said yes.
When you have your values and you stick by them, I think you're going to go through life very happy. Because as soon as you cross the line and you're like, oh.
Where does that boundary then?
Correct.
Stop.
And it might backfire and then you're like, fuck, I went against my values.
Yeah. I stepped out and it wasn't what I wanted.
It ruined that for you. So, no, good on you for doing that because a lot of people just go for the money. Where you're doing it for the right things because it's your hobby. Like you have fun. It is a
hobby, and I do think like I know that I kind of went on like a whole tangent before, but diverted your question.
No,
but I do think you can do a lot of good with it. Like I use it personally. I love to partner with like child organizations or companies that support like obviously special needs kids, or support being active and healthy or. Like with my modeling agency, like I think, you know, like we stand for, and I've stuck with this agency since I was very young. They're not the biggest one and I probably could try go for a bigger one, but I've stuck with her because she has the same values as me. She wouldn't ever ask me to lose weight. She wouldn't ask me to, you know, change anything about myself. She submits me for jobs who are looking for people like me.
Yep.
And if I don't fit that job, she's not going to go and submit me. Which is really refreshing and really healthy because growing up, I was with a different modeling agency starting out and they submitted me for jobs like Milan Fashion like a Milan Fashion Week job, and I was well under the height requirements. And I told them that, and they said, no, you still have to go for the job, but you have to lose this much out of each of my measurements. Like,
oh my God. So it was break that down.
Disgusting.
Like, what's that like? Because I'm sure a lot of people don't know behind the scenes. So
yeah,
to go to Milan Fashion Show, because it's intense, like the best of the best, the best in the modelling industry according to the fashion houses.
Yeah, and like I guess runway modelling, for those that don't know, runway modelling now is starting to change, which is amazing, and I'm all for it. But back in the day, runway modelling, you had to be a certain height and figure. And I was probably neither of those. Like, I enjoy my food and I'm happy to eat whatever I want. And I'd rather go to the gym an extra time in the week to look like I want to look without restricting myself too much. And when I was with the modelling agency really, really young, I basically said to her, I'm well under the height requirement. I'm not going to get this job, even if I lose so much off my hips and off my thighs was the main area for me. And it was basically muscle. Like, I was a sporty kid. Like, I grew up in and out of the basketball gym, like in and out of cheerleading, out of dancing.
Yeah, you're athletic.
Yeah. So it was just, it was literally muscle.
They want that heroin chic.
It was literally like you had to cut it. And like, I remember being so unhappy dieting and like really unhealthily dieting to try and drop the pounds.
And how old were you then?
Like young, maybe like 14.
Oh my
God. Like super young.
What?
Like, yeah, like really young.
That stunts your growth and stuff at that age because you're going through puberty.
Yeah, and like I'm lucky that I had like a really, my mum was like, at the time I was like, why is she not letting me do this? But like she was like, no, you're not going with this agency anymore. That's not what I want for you.
Yeah.
And kind of led me on that path. But I can only imagine if girls are doing it. Yeah, thank God for mum. If girls are doing it on their own and they don't know any better. Like I have a girl, like a best friend that does modelling, and a couple of years ago she actually like lost her period from being unhealthily skinny. And she was booking jobs, and that's what the modelling industry wanted, and she was really, really busy. And now that we're healthy or a bit bigger, she's not getting the work, which is
that's insane.
Crazy. She was unhealthy and sick, and she was booking a job every single day, and that's what they wanted. And it's so unrealistic, and that's why I'm very careful with what I post on social media, because people can look at a photo, and even I look at my professional photos sometimes and I'm like, damn, like, wow, like Photoshop does, change a lot of things. And that's why I try not to touch anything like that with my body. If people look at me, that is me. And if I don't like the photo, I don't post it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because I do know that the girls growing up, like I don't want them to look at that or look at my Instagram when I want to look like that and then start restricting themselves or trying to be something that they think is real, but it's not.
And if they're having like eating, well, if you're dieting like that at going through puberty, I can't even say my words.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
I'm lucky it was only for a 2-week period, but
yeah, like
I can't imagine what that would do to you.
That's how eating habits are formed, and bad eating disorders are formed, like bulimia and anorexia and stuff like that. Like,
and it's pretty sad working in and out of the hospitals now. When I was in uni, as like a student occupational therapist, we had girls coming in at 6 with eating disorders. Like,
what?
It's just so sad.
And were they like conscious and they're like, I'm too fat or something? Or
yeah, and like they were hearing it from their parents. So
I bet their parents are probably fucking.
And they have to exercise and they have to kind of eat like this. And I'm like, I get where you're going with that, but I think you have to be very careful with the way that you're saying that and the way you're speaking about yourself in front of children.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think, because I was an athlete when I was younger as well, and I was struggling to keep on weight because I do so many Ks in a week running. But I know that some of the girls, like Genevieve Lacaze, she was in my team. Shout out to Jen. She has run 2 Olympic Games for steeplechase, and she's Jen Gregson now, and her partner, who's also a runner. I think they're about to have a baby, or they just had one. But I remember when I left to go to college and I came back, and she was 3 years younger than me, but we had to strategically stop her training schedule for 4 months so she get a period, so she actually go through puberty, because she was she was so lean, but she was eating, she was healthy, she was athletic, but she was just so lean that there wasn't enough natural fats to go into that process.
Unfortunately, that was never an issue for me. But a girl in my cheerleading team had the same thing, and like the doctors had to put her on and off like fattening diets because it was just in her genetics that's how she was.
She was skinny, yeah.
Yeah, and like I remember her like, you always say, oh, I wish I could be that skinny or I wish I could look like that. But I remember her saying to me one day, like, I can't actually do the same things at cheerleading this week because they're worried because I am so skinny, like similar to your friend.
Half.
Yeah, literally. And like I couldn't even imagine, thinking, like I can't even imagine like how that must feel because I think that no one's ever happy and like, truly who they are. You want what you can't have.
Yeah.
And then
but the grass is not always green on the other side.
No, and she was missing out on things that we didn't even think about at cheer. Like we would just, go and do our dance or our tumbling or our flipping and, catch people like normal. But she had to actually, like the coach had to think about where she was in the routine and who she could catch and who she couldn't catch and, what she couldn't do. So...
Speaking of cheerleading and dancing, because I heard you're quite the dancer, how did you get into that? Obviously at school with cheerleading, but were you hyper competitive with that? Like, did you do up to the standard that's on that Netflix show, Cheer?
That's my toxic trait. Like anything in a competition, holy moly, like Caitlynn just fires up. Like anything. Like
I didn't realize you were so competitive.
I act like I'm not, but holy moly, if you are on my team for something, like we better win or you are gonna cop it.
Dead
like,
to me.
Yeah. Like, and I think my dad's the same. Like I remember him like yelling at my carnivals, like, go, you've like at the whole sideline in cross country. Like if you don't come home with the first place, don't come home. And like I remember like
teaching winners. I like him already.
Yeah.
What's
like
your dad's name?
Mark Henry, like the wrestler.
Mark Henry, you're a legend, teaching winners.
And I just still to this day, like swimming carnivals or him and my mum, like, go you good thing, like in their big South African accents on the sideline. Like every time I was like swimming and like my head would come up for air and I was like, they're there, like I gotta keep going, like I gotta go. And like, yeah, like I was pretty athletic, but I'm like, yeah, so I was always in dancing, some sort of sport. My poor mum like used to drive us around everywhere. Like
you and your sister?
Yeah, my sister.
Is she older or younger than you?
5 years older.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So she's very, very different.
Yeah,
Completely different.
In what way?
She's like an introvert, very shy, like doesn't like things to be like about her kind of thing.
Yeah, wow.
Very easygoing, whereas I'm like super stubborn, like just completely opposite. Like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Like couldn't have been more different if we tried.
I saw though that not only could you what other dancing did you do? Because I saw break dancing was in there.
How deep did you go?
Always.
So I used to do. I've tried lots of different dancing.
Yep.
We started with ballet.
Yep.
Just wasn't for me. So boring to me. I need something like fast. I just
high
couldn't.
Energy.
Yeah, I love the idea of the tutus, but it was just painfully slow for me. Like I just couldn't do it. So I tried hip hop.
Yep.
I was pretty good. And
so you got rhythm.
I got some rhythm. I got some swagger. And I joined, I got asked to join down at the Gold Coast. They used to have a basketball team called Blaze Basketball.
Yep.
And I got asked to be in like the mini cheerleading team when I was very young, and I used to do the breakdancing on the court.
No way.
Yeah. So like I used to do my headstands and like, yeah.
Did you do helicopters and stuff? Or?
Probably not now, but.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah, I used to do like my headstands and like my freezes just on my arms and like hold my whole body up. So that's where I used to do my breakdancing and my hip hop. And then I used to see the big girls, like the older girls doing their cheerleading. And I was like, oh, that looks cool too. So then I decided to dip my toe into some cheerleading.
Because you've cheerleaded for some pretty big teams over the years.
Yes. I've been pretty lucky. I feel like...
Who have you cheerleaded with?
So I grew up, obviously the Blaze basketball team,
yep.
Very young. And then when I was probably like 11, 12, they had like the mini Titans cheerleaders.
Holy fuck. That's so young.
Yeah, and then I did that for years.
Was that abnormal? Were you like the youngest?
I was always the youngest and the smallest. Never caught up. But yeah, I was always the youngest and the smallest. And there was like a mini Titans team. So I was in that for a while.
Yep.
And then I was in like the Titanettes was like the official team.
Oh, I like that.
And the Titans,
the
they're now
words.
like the Sirens, I think.
Yeah, okay.
The Hog's Breast Sirens now, and that was what we were training for. So I was in the Littlies, and then I was in like the under team, like training for them. And then I kind of, when modeling started picking up and studies started picking up, I decided to give cheerleading kind of a break, as hard as that was. And then I came back in and I did some work with the Brisbane Bullets really recently.
Yeah, awesome.
For them. So that was really cool, like to get back into it, and I absolutely loved it. But at the moment with Miss Universe and things going on,
Bit hectic.
it's just I'm spreading myself a bit thin with modelling and working full-time and Miss Universe. Something had to give. So I'm looking at getting back into dancing, but just for the fun of it now.
With going back to social quickly as well, did that help you secure deals as a model? Like, were you picked up through that?
Yeah. So social media was a great tool for me. I obviously had my agency who would submit me for things, but depending on what I posted, what content I was producing or what types of photos I was putting up, brands would actually contact me to work with them, and whether that be like for me to then create content for them on Instagram, or whether that be actually going and booking a shoot, like a proper shoot for them. So it definitely has opened doors, and I was lucky enough to, through my Instagram, to get a fully paid trip to Dubai with a makeup company with my best friend. So that was incredible. I don't think I would have yet gone to Dubai if I hadn't had the opportunity, but yeah, I was taken over there to shoot with the makeup brand and launch their makeup in Dubai.
You're allowed to give them a shout out if they're good.
Shout out to Skin02. They've been there from the very start with me.
Amazing.
And they took all of us girls over to Dubai to launch their new collection.
Wow.
Over there.
Were you in the dunes and stuff, or?
Yeah, so Skin02, amazing. She booked, Alison Atia booked us all. Obviously we had our work days where we had to do our, makeup shoots, but she took us and had the full experience. We were doing the shisha at the biggest bars, staying in Versace. We were actually working with the owner of Sephora over there.
Oh
which
my God.
I don't know if you know Sephora. It's a massive company.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We're waiting for them to open up the men's category so we can get in there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Or our girls brand that we're launching later in the year.
I was going to ask, I feel like I was told about that, and then I had to keep you accountable. Like, when is that coming? But yeah, so I got to go in the dunes, and we did the sand duning tour where you go out for the day in the massive 4-wheel drives and they take you down, and then you get off and you take the quad bikes in the dunes yourself.
Amazing.
And then you have dinner in the middle of the desert with the camels at this good. Arabian picnic, amazing night.
Oh, I so want to do that. I've only ever stopped over in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and on my way to Europe, but I want to spend some time there.
It's incredible, definitely.
Yeah. So with modeling, you got picked up pretty young.
Yes.
Was it your charm or good looks that got you across the line? No.
My job. No, so I didn't even really have an interest in it until grade 10. I kind of always looked up to the Victoria's Secret models and idolized them, and that's what I wanted to be. They just walking down the catwalk looking that powerful. I'm like, yeah, girl, that is what I want to be when I get older. And height was not on my side, and I did ask my dad for some leg implants.
Oh my God.
But the chances of me not walking again was outweighed.
Yes,
thank you, Dad, for talking me out of that. So modelling, my sister actually got me into modelling.
Yeah, okay.
She is really into photography and would always dress me up, and I was always the model, being the little sister, as you do. So one day she decided that she wanted to do this kind of photo shoot, this vintage with the vintage suitcases, my hair in rollers.
Yeah, cool.
Kind of thing with my braces. And she took those photos for me and sent them in just herself. I didn't even know, sent them into Dolly magazine.
Yeah, I remember Dolly.
Yeah.
Oh, the sex things in Dolly we used to steal.
Oh, the one that you have to like rip
yeah,
open.
the secret
Ooh.
section.
See, I wish like that's kind of was still there for the girls these days. They can just get whatever,
I know.
wherever, you know. But anyway, so she submitted it to Dolly magazine, and I was on school camp, and I got a phone call saying I had to leave school camp the next day, and I was getting flown down to Sydney to do a first shoot to be in
Oh, so that was
Dolly
the day
magazine.
that you went.
Yeah.
Holy shit! No wonder you got ghosted by everyone. They would have been jealous as fuck.
And I was like, what is happening? Like, I first thought something was wrong when my teachers brought me the phone. Like, you know, we didn't all have our phones. We weren't meant to have our phones on school camp. And being the goody two-shoes that I wasn't going to answer my phone. So the teachers brought it to me and said, it's like your mum and your sister. And I thought, oh my.
What's happened?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, like something is wrong. No. So yeah, I had to leave school camp and go down to Sydney, and my mum and my sister.
How excited were you? Like when you realised?
Oh, I don't think I feel like it felt real at all. Like we were on the plane, and obviously like they're my biggest supporters, hands down. So shout out to them because they are still to this day my most incredible supporters.
Who Dolly or mum and dad?
My sister and my mum.
Yeah, cool.
I think I'm a little too old for Dolly now. They won't have me. But yeah, so I flew down, and I don't think it really hit me until I was in like the massive Dolly headquarters in Sydney, and I kind of was like, oh my goodness,
Wow.
I'm here with my braces and all, and I'm here. And then I was in a couple of like the Dolly shoots, a couple of months in a row. So I was back and forth from Sydney, and then Girlfriend magazine was like, hey,
I see
we
you there.
want you too. So
Oh my God.
I was in Girlfriend magazine, which was kind of like the older version.
Yeah,
I think,
it was
of
like
Dolly.
the older
that was like the
teen.
next one up.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, yeah. And so yeah, and I got to go down and do some shoots for Girlfriend magazine as well.
And were they paying you well? Like, what's a shoot pay like that when you're that young?
So at the time when they first were doing these trial shoots with me, the first one was kind of just like expenses paid.
Yeah.
And then after that, I don't actually really remember. My mum was really hands-on stage mum.
Manager mum.
My mum and Ja is her Instagram. Kind of like my Kris Jenner.
Yeah.
And she managed all of that for me, and she actually put it into a savings account. So I remember booking like one of my jobs when I was like 8 or something, and it was like for Pentax, and it was a massive shoot, and it was like thousands of dollars for the couple of days. And yeah, my mum just slowly put that all into
How good.
my bank account, like my own separate bank account for me. And it was like, oh, pocket money for doing something I love doing, which was awesome.
And were you allowed to spend that on anything?
Yeah, mum was pretty good. I think like
What'd you
I didn't
buy?
really want, I don't know. I didn't spend that thousands for a while. I think I kept that for a very long time until I was wise enough to choose something. That was quite good.
Buy shoes and bags.
Yeah, like, not spend it on something. But I did definitely like treat myself here and there. Like probably at the time was like clothes or toys, or like I think I got one of those flip phones.
Yep.
That was really cool, like a pink one.
Motorola's.
No, see, I was always jealous of my sister. She had the hot pink Motorola
Yeah.
that I stole and had for a while and had to give back. But one of those like actual ones that came out with like the keyboards.
Oh, the flips.
Full keyboards that you like slid up
Yeah,
the phone
yeah.
and like had like the full computer keyboards. Like they were like the cool thing to have. And I think I bought one of those
Bougie.
for myself. Yeah. But I think like my mum, was pretty good like at handling that kind of stuff for me.
With modelling now, because your career's advanced obviously over the years, what's different now to what it was back then? Like, are you proactively going out and seeking shoots, or is your management just sending out to what you need and you're like, yeah, that's like a passion project, I'll align with this brand?
Yeah, so I think so for me, my social media, I obviously will get booked for things with my agency, which is fine to do, but there is definitely, my social media is more so like what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And I'll work with brands to do that. And all of my modeling gigs that I'm getting at the moment are, from my portfolio, from my agency.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't really have to go and find, like, unless there's a job specifically that I want to go for, or a brand that I really am like, yeah, that's what I want to do, then I'll have to try and make content to match what they're looking for. And then my agency will go and kind of like source that out with them. Yeah. And like liaise with them.
What's the the time, like from initial contact to the actual job, or is it like always here, it's next week,
like we
need you there?
Yeah, the movies, like doing lots of stuff on the movie sets down at the Gold Coast.
You did? I missed that. Did you do movies as well?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll
how did you not Google that?
We'll move
it's like the back of my head is really quite famous, Luke.
Shit. But with modeling, I suppose what I want to I just want to uncover a bit more, like if someone was wanting to get into modeling who's younger or who's in their 20s, 30s, whatever, and by the way, if you're not good looking, don't probably. Oh, actually, no. There's people who are.
I feel like anyone, if you want to do it,
have a
there's
crack.
always a brand looking like I've been turned down for brands because you're not the right fit.
Yeah. Okay.
So you definitely I feel and then like sometimes you'll see the girls or the boys or the family or whatever that gets picked, and you're like, oh, that's really
interesting.
But everyone's looking for something different. So I think if you want to do it, the steps to do that would be getting some really good photos that just represent you and show you off, and that things that you're confident with that you can look at and go, I love those.
Yeah, okay.
Because then, like you said, like with me sticking to my brand, if you put stuff out there that you like and that you are confident with, the right brands come back to you and the right work comes back.
Sweet.
So definitely get some photos if you're wanting to start out.
Then agency?
Then so these days you can do it on your own if you want to.
Yeah, there's things like Star Now and all those types of things.
Yeah, so I had Star Now for a bit back, when I kind of wanted to do it on my own, and then I thought, no, you know what? I like Tegan Glass at Glass Management is like my second mum. She's been there through everything. She's taken me to things when my mum couldn't take me.
Amazing.
So if you have, like the right person behind you, I definitely think have an agency, because she has contacts that I would probably never get.
Yeah.
And she's been in the industry for over 30 years. So find someone like that you have that bond with and have that relationship with, or an agency that you trust, and that wants to see your goals through and go with them. And
then, because I know that a lot of people have this expectation, well, I'm not good looking enough or whatever. So I'm glad we answered that question there. But in regards to the time it takes, because some people might put a job up and just not get done.
Yes. So patience is a virtue sometimes. Some jobs are like a quick turnaround, like a week turnaround. Other jobs you like audition for, like the bigger ones, and you sometimes never hear back because the jobs have either like fallen through and then you think it's you.
Yeah.
So the jobs there, sometimes they don't actually, you audition or you cast for these roles and then they never go to fruition.
Yep.
And something backhander stuff, like backhouse stuff happens. So the project doesn't get, or they decide to go with a completely different avenue and you don't then fit whatever the new campaign may be. So it is a bit of a waiting game, and I do think in the start I had to do jobs like for less, or for like at the start for free with companies, just to get your face out there. So the start is definitely harder.
And it's also building out your portfolio as well.
And building. So like now people, I think I've gotten to the point where like people are coming, like for my Instagram definitely like are coming to me and what I make and the content I create. But at the start it definitely wasn't like that. Like I had to build that from the start.
Well, I think it goes down to like some of the things I've said on other podcasts of ours, where add value. Like when you're giving service to someone or doing something, just play full out and make sure you're doing the best you can. So if it means you have to do 20 fucking photo shoots on your money, guess what? You're building your portfolio from it. You're developing the skill set to model, because that was the next thing I want to talk about. Everyone's like, oh, modeling's so fucking easy. But it's actually, I've been there on the spot.
It's hard work.
It's so hard. And then, just like you start to build your reputation in the industry as like professional on the shoot.
And I think getting started that young, my hot tip to anyone out there, and my mother drilled this into me, You sit in that makeup chair and you do not question a single thing. You don't complain. You don't question. You're not one of those models that's in the next chair over crying because they don't like the way that their hair is or the way that their makeup's done. They've hired you and it's their brand, and whatever they want to do or whatever, within reason, whatever they want to put you in, whatever they want to do to your hair, you let them. It's all fixable. They've hired, you're literally there for their brand, not for what you like and what you looks good.
It fucking blew my mind when I had my first, like, it was a front cover of some style magazine with a couple of other awesome fashion entrepreneurs out of Brisbane. And I remember we went to the shoot site and they sat me down and they started putting makeup on me. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And it was the most bizarre thing. And I think I looked even worse with it. And then we did the shoot with everyone and then we did individual ones. But I had no idea what I was doing and I felt like the biggest idiot in the world. Like, just even the constant moving and
you do feel a bit
striking
silly.
up. Yeah, you feel like a weirdo.
And it's like, it doesn't feel, the less, like the more it hurts often, the better it looks. Like if it feels like awkward, it probably looks really great. And then unfortunately, if it looks good, you have to hold that. So like often your back goes or your feet are going or like it's just not comfy, you know? Like to pose or to do that. And like you said, you felt a bit silly. Like you'll get to castings and you don't actually know, you know the company, but you don't know what they're asking for. So like often you show up to castings and like I had to do one for like Fright Nights years ago with like a fake boyfriend. Here's your boyfriend. Here you are in a white room. Pretend someone's murdering you now. 3, 2, 1, scream, like high-pitched scream or like, and you're like, oh my.
Okay.
But it's just a white room. There's actually nothing scare me or I think I could pretend to be scared of.
So it's almost acting and then getting that captured in the moment.
Yeah. And you do feel really silly. You just rock up and you just have to do, that is it. You just got to leave everything at the door and whatever they ask for, you do it. They've seen it 1,000 times and if you do it the way they like it, then
you get more jobs.
It's you for the day.
Because I remember I was the only one who hadn't had a shit like that. I'd done like press for the newspaper and everything, which is nothing compared to a proper fashion shoot. And everyone knew what they were doing, except for me.
All looked like they knew what they were doing.
Well, no, they were all like in the fashion industry, and I had worked in the fashion industry with Ralph Lauren and Oroton, but I had not done any of the shoots. So, because obviously I'm not the best looking man, but I would literally, it just blew my mind. And I was just laughing the entire time because I was like, I am so fucking spastic right now. Like, I don't understand how you guys can do this.
There is a rhythm to it. I think dancing helped with that rhythm.
Yeah.
It feels less awkward.
Well, I've done a few more since and that's way better. But I literally sat there because I had an ego then and I was like worried about what everyone would think of me and because I'm competitive. I hate not being good.
And the best at it.
Correct, straight away. And so it was like, what do I need
really
to do? And then as soon as I asked, man, advice came out of the woodwork from all the other models. And straight away, like you can start adapting. And then when it becomes normal, then it's normal for you. And you start to lose
and you don't question it. And I think going through my teenage years in modeling, I got like, oh my gosh, I'm silly. Or this doesn't look good. Or this, I shouldn't be doing this. Or like, this is not cool to do this, you know? And I really got in my own head for a couple of years there. And like, I'd get to shoots and just like panic. Like,
really?
Because I'm like I would so in my own head and I would hear all the comments and like I'd let the negative for a while there. I'd let the negative things get to me and my mum was like, what are you doing? This is you. You do you. This is what you're good at.
Yeah.
Like do not let all this. I was so like self-conscious, like showing up to shoots like and you could see it on my face like in the photos. It just wasn't
you.
Yeah, it wasn't natural. I'd look uncomfortable and I let it get the better of me. Like all my self-talk.
When did that shift? Like what age were you comfortable with yourself? Because I know like even for me, I think when I was 25, I had like a quarter life crisis because I
definitely had that this year.
Yeah, because I hadn't taken over the world yet. And then when I was 29, I was like, I can actually die.
Yeah, I'm getting closer. Yeah.
No, but that was because I do stupid shit. So I was like, I could actually die. That was my realization. But no. You know me, so
I was going to say, yeah, like I know you very well. And like I don't question that at all. You definitely could die.
but yeah, what was there a moment where you're like, oh shit, you know what? I'm actually good at this, and I am who I like. Start
This
rocking
is me.
it. Yeah.
I don't know whether there was like a certain turning point, but I think as I matured and like became confident in myself and kind of knew where my life, like where I wanted my life to go and what I wanted for myself, then I was like, you know what? I'm good at this. Like I can do this. And now I find like I'm booking more jobs again because I go to jobs and I don't care if I look stupid. I don't care because that's what they want. Like it looks really good
Having
for them.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. If they want you to dance, if they want you to giggle, if they want you to like, I've never had acting training. If they want you to show up and try and be like, I did a Medi Scrubs role where I had to be like a doctor and I felt like I was on Grey's Anatomy and that was just really awkward because I'm not a serious person. And I had to talk to this little boy like he had cancer and like that was serious.
Oh my
and
God,
I just
like a proper serious
I just did
one.
that in my Scrubs like, and they were like, 2 takes and I had it and I was like,
hell yeah,
I've got it. I've got it back.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know if there was a point, like a certain turning point, but slowly I got out of my own head and I just embraced, and I just dropped that,
Well, it's very
expectation.
evident in all your photos, like even your recent stuff I saw for your Miss Universe. Like it's you. And
and I want people to look at it and like people who know me really well or people who know me in real life and look at the photos and be like, oh yeah, I can see that. Like I see her personality or I see her doing that or using that or just me.
it's very good. Now, pulling out a fucking random thing from nowhere, acting. What movies were you in? Or how did this all happen?
So acting and modeling goes like quite close together. Like often extra work because you don't need certain acting qualifications. You'll get booked as an extra. So I've
Just
done
throwing good looking people in the scene.
Yeah, who like are happy to sit and are used to sitting for long days and are used to being like professional and things like that. So I've been lucky enough to do like a lot of work on Aquaman.
Really?
With Jason Momoa and Amber Heard.
Wow.
Which was really cool. Well, not so cool now with Amber Heard, but
yeah. Yeah.
she was
crazy. Did you get to meet her?
I did meet her and
wow.
that is
What was she like when you met her?
she was Amber Heard.
Wow. Okay. That's probably a good answer.
It's her. That is her. She was really lovely to me.
Yeah.
Like we were in these like extravagant costumes and
What was your role?
I had like these cornrows we had to get up at like, so we filmed this scene with Amber Heard and some of the other people from Aquaman. I don't really remember their names.
They're not that famous.
No. I saw him. I saw him in a Marvel movie and I was like, I was in the makeup chair with that guy and I don't know his name. Anyway, lovely man.
We'll find it later.
He's the green. Maybe the green.
The Green Goblin.
Yeah, what's his name? The older guy.
Who's the Green Goblin, Ryan?
What's his older name? I can see his face.
I have no idea. I never watched Aquaman because I've
only watched it to see because I knew the back end of how they made that. I just wanted to see
how it finished. The only Aquaman
Willem
I've
Dafoe?
seen.
Yeah.
Who is it?
William Dafoe.
The guy that sounds like the name sounds like a frog talking to a bird.
He's an older dude and so lovely. We're in the makeup room together and early hours of the morning and he was getting like his wig fitted and we were getting our hair cornrowed. So the funny thing with Aquaman, they filmed it and then we had to go back a second time because it was too much for the CGI people to make our hair underwater every single strand of all of the extras' hair. So they could do it for the main characters. Obviously they need to look like that. But then they decided it's too much work and it was going to cost too much money to get each strand of our hair to move constantly like it was underwater.
Wow.
So redo the whole thing. Every single one of us extras got up probably at like 2 a.m., something crazy, to go and get our hair like viciously cornrowed. Have you ever?
I've had
that
dreadlocks.
That is a different pain. I've had my hair braided and pulled and whatever with modeling and cheerleading, but holy, those it was in, and we had to sleep with it and go back the next day too, because it was like a full day of filming, and then we had a second scene to do to catch up. So we, instead of redoing it, we just had to leave it, and they had to do it so tight that it would last that long. So they had to redo it, and then I saw Amber, officially met Amber the second time with our hair in cornrows, and it had been such a long day, and we were in these massive outfits, and I had like just the most pounding headache, like migraine
from
like there was like my cornrows, this massive outfit, and like this massive like crown piece, like underwater piece that I had to wear that was really heavy, that was attached to my cornrows, so I couldn't, like it was sewn in there, I couldn't take it off.
Oh my God.
So she heard me talking to one of the other extras saying like I was in really some pain, like some strife, and she was lovely. She got me some Nurofen, and she pulled her Amber Heard power, and I got some Nurofen, and I got some water, and we sat and had lunch with her. And
what did you talk about?
We just talked. She was talking, like her assistant was there too, and they were just kind of talking about life in general, and like obviously didn't talk about too much about life, but or about the dogs or any, like nothing.
Yeah,
of that
that's
drama.
right. That's because they were done for that. Yeah.
Little Yorkies. So like nothing like that. And then she was actually asking like what I was doing with life, or how I was, if acting was something I actually wanted to do, or what was just happening. And it was pretty cool. And I didn't realize how big she was.
Yeah,
at the
wow.
time.
Well, that's probably why she actually had a real conversation with you, because
I think she was just before, like her career had really kind of taken off.
Yeah.
But I know that to some other people, she was definitely Amber Heard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've the world's seen that now.
she's let that out to air. So that's
a pretty cool story though.
Yeah. So
did you meet Mimosa?
It was his birthday, yes. We sang happy birthday to him, and then he had his 6 body doubles fill in for the afternoon while he went surfing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He was like, happy birthday, here's some cake. We sang to him happy birthday, and then he's like, I'm going out for a surf. You guys got this. And then his stunt double, his body double, his voice double, his whatever double, just kind of did it for the afternoon.
And do they actually look like him?
Yeah, so they look like him. They're the same measurements. So I've been a body double in another movie.
Yeah, okay.
In Dora.
Who are you body double for?
So I've been 2 body doubles, so I must have a common body type. I had to go to a costume fitting for Dora, the real life Dora, for Eva Longoria, which I was like, I'll take that. I'll take her measurements. Yeah. So I fitted her costume for her before she got here. And then I was a body double for Millie Bobby Brown, who is the main actress of Stranger Things in Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah, wow.
So I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment that I'm like as small as, a teen, but seeing her in person and seeing her act was,
next level.
Insane. Yeah.
What was, is it the energy or?
Yeah, like we were doing like a scene, and like obviously we're like called second team. So we do the long hours. Well, she was so young, she still had to go and do school on set. So she'd go and do the schoolwork, and she had to do filming in Australia. She has to do so many hours of schoolwork. So she'd go and do the schoolwork, and then we would set up the scene and fake act it with all the camera crew and do all the testing and the lights and be in the actual costumes exactly the same. So that's why you have to be the same height, the same as similar as you can. Yeah. And then you kind of act out the scene as if it was them. And then when it's ready to go, they say first team, and you hop out and they jump in and you stand there and wait. And when they take a take and they need to fix things, they get the first team back out and you're back in again. So seeing her like speaking to you like normally, and the next minute the scene was like pure tears, like screaming terror, and she could just
turn it on.
Literally instantly she'd sit in the chair like, and Godzilla's like taken over or something, and she literally would be like ha 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 ha, and then they'd be like, okay, rolling, quiet, action, and then she'd just hysterically scream and cry like she was dying, and then they'd say like cut, and then she'd be like and just like wipe them off and keep going as per normal.
Oh my God.
It was insane. I've never seen someone do it so believably, so young too. Like she is incredible.
Like a good actor is actually scary.
Because
they can be
jumped,
anyone.
and I was like I knew the scene. I had just done the whole scene, and I knew exactly what was coming, but I was like, I was really invested. Like something was really wrong with her, like the scream and the tears. And then she'd just wipe it away and giggle and go and do her schoolwork and then come back for the next thing.
Yeah, I feel like you either have to be a psychopath.
I couldn't do that.
Or
I just don't have
like
that.
Amber Heard, or or like it's almost scary that someone can pretend these emotions or these roles like like any of the great actors. Because if they weren't famous but they were a really good actor, they could literally do anything.
That's the thing, and I feel like it is training to an extent, but I feel like it's a natural ability in you. Like I do think the great actors from a young age, like you see their baby videos or they're always the ones acting or dramatizing things. Like I do think it is ingrained in them. Like you can have training, like I probably could have the exact same training that she had and I definitely would not be sitting in that chair as believable as she was doing that. And so fast too. Like I definitely would need a warm up or like a sad story.
Yeah.
And she would just be like giggling and laughing to the directors and then she'd be dying and be like getting possessed and that was it. And then she'd giggle and laughing and then off she'd skip to go and do her schoolwork. And I was literally like,
that's why I'm on second team.
I will stay on the second team. I'm fine with her doing that. She's got that.
That is so cool. So did you actually end up having any acting training to be on these? Like,
no, nothing. Still to this day, I haven't done any. I'd like to do some.
Yep.
So that I maybe could get like a speaking role or something. You can still go for speaking roles. And through COVID has really changed that you can film it in your own house. So there's like self-tapes now.
Okay.
Where you send them in. You used to go and have to do it.
Yep.
And I think maybe some of the companies do it like that. But I've had a couple of auditions where you self-tape that from home.
Yep.
And you get to say those lines.
So like for cartoons or something or
no,
dubbing
for
over?
film.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
for film. So if they want you for a certain role, obviously probably not the major roles because they're, people who have made name for themselves will go and do like work their way up in the ranks. But like for the small speaking roles, you can still film that from home and they send you the script and they send you what you want to be and what the character is and then you have a chance to send that back to them. And if it's believable and if they like it, then
it's good.
You. Yeah.
And you just got this like into acting just off the offshoot off modelling, hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like modelling comes in waves, like people all need campaigns or they don't, like any job. So when all the movies started coming to the Gold Coast, my agent was like, would you ever want to do extra work? And I was like,
sure.
Why not? That sounds awesome. I want to see how movies are made. I want to be a part of that. And like it changes the way I watch movies now though, because I've seen like where the stunt doubles step in and you can actually see it in the movies. They're very close looking, but you can see where the people swap.
Yeah.
And I've seen it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So like I do watch movies really differently now, which is really cool.
Have you seen Top Gun?
I have not yet.
I need to.
But I know that Tom Cruise does everything.
Yeah.
I heard that on the radio. Yeah.
He's a psycho.
Like flying planes and
he learned how to fly
the fighter pilot.
F-18. I think it was F-18. But I'm so pumped for that. I just haven't had
Everyone
time to go.
has raved about it.
Yeah. Like I remember
glowing reviews.
Last week I listened to Russell Brand. He was like, this is the best fucking movie ever.
It's really good. Apparently it's really good, even if you're not into that. Yeah,
pulling in the old history of like Cold War stuff, but not really saying anything. Like, just trying to get that.
I'm yet to see that.
Yeah.
That's on my list, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Which leads me to next, your beauty pageant stuff. Is that what you call it? Is it beauty pageant? What's the correct term for it now?
That's it. Some people do.
Yeah.
However, Miss Universe Australia has steered away from that.
Yeah, because it's more
and
about
it's just Miss Universe Australia.
Yeah, so because you were first Miss Global Australia.
Yes.
What was the criteria? How did this all happen?
So pageants happened because I was too short to be a runway model, and there was an unspoken rule with pageants that you did have to be a certain height. They weren't allowed to explicitly say that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely well known. If you weren't picked over someone, it's probably because of your height.
Wow.
They're never really allowed to say that, but it's there. Yeah. You know, everyone knows. And I was like, just put me in bigger
Trump
heels
own
for
Miss
God
Universe?
damn it. He used to.
Yeah, he used to. Yeah.
Yeah, so he used to own the whole Miss Universe. organization.
Yes.
I was going to say pageant, but it's not. Organization.
Yes.
The Miss Universe organization in America. And I was actually lucky enough when I was in Vegas to go and watch one
Oh, wow.
of the actual stage shows before I really was involved myself with my mum. And that was like a whole experience. And I was like, you know what? If I can't be Victoria's Secret, there's a stage. I'm going to put some heels on. I'm going to walk on that stage. So I was in teen pageants for ages, and I've met some of my best friends, some that you've met, Jasmine.
Yep.
I got second to her in our first pageant.
Ooh.
And everyone said, you're never going to be friends ever again. Best friends. Could not imagine my life without her.
I'm sure a lot of people that happens to, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got like also my friend that you know, Olivia Patmore, my model friend. I met her through pageants.
Olivia's great.
And she beat me too. But it really
Well,
is
it's hyper
time and a
competitive.
place. And yeah, like my best friend from Perth, Janaea, only met her through pageants.
Yep.
She beat me too. I had a lot of losses, character building.
Yes.
And then I decided I wasn't really good at, wasn't not good. I just teen pageants wasn't my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was, you know what? I wasn't going to give up. I tried a Miss pageant, which is like the older division. So 18 and over, which was Miss Global. And I got through. I got to our like national finals were in Perth. We had to do like a whole week there, where we had to do like interviews, bikini judging. We had to make like a national costume if we were to win and represent Australia. What would we represent?
What did you do?
My dad got me massive feather wings, like my Victoria's Secret dream. Massive feather wings. He carted them back from Thailand for me. And I was a white cockatoo just because I wanted to wear the wings.
Oh my
And I
God.
wanted to do something different that no one had done from Australia before. Like I could do like the Outback Girl or like the Lifesaver. But it was done before. No one had really been a cockatoo. So I chose to go with that and I got to wear my wings finally. And then I ended up winning in Perth.
That is amazing. How long is the process before the build up to the final?
A couple of months.
Yeah, it's pretty long
Yeah.
and drawn out and in depth.
And you do like along the way, you do like charity events. You attend events as a finalist, like as Miss Global Australia finalist or as a Miss Universe finalist, to build that brand for yourself and build what you want to bring to the competition. So I guess in the lead up, these organizations want to see if you were to win and represent their company for the next year, what would you do? Why would you use this platform? How would you use this platform? Like, what would be your kind of thing? What are your passions? What would you support? So you do all of the charity events. You do some fundraising with a cause that's close to your heart, and yeah, you build what your platform would be for the next year if you were to win. And I was lucky enough, to win. And it was just
Amazing.
It was I still watch that video and cry, and my mum still cries, bless her.
So you just weren't expecting it?
No, because I'd never won before.
Always runner up.
Always runner up to my best friends. I was always runner up or third I never had one like that. And it was my first Miss one in the older division, so I was the youngest.
Yep.
I like being the youngest for some reason. I like challenging myself. I was the youngest by far with these girls. And I was like, I'm not womanly enough. I'm not, like you look at this Miss Universe girls and you're like, wow, like they've got their life together. And I was 18 and, freshly, paused uni for this. And so I won and I got to go and compete in the Philippines for 2.5 weeks, nearly 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's on the world comp?
Yeah, so that was the Miss Global organization, like the internationals. That was against, so I was Miss Australia and Miss Global Australia, and I was competing against all the other countries in the world.
How did you go in that one?
I got third.
Whoa, holy shit, really?
Yeah, so I got third for 19 at 19 years of age.
Wow, how cool.
Yeah, so I was in like that company, the Miss Global company. They they have like a royal court where like the top 5 will get crowns, and the top one the winner gets a different crown. But the 5 of us, and they build that sisterhood that's in their motto and their platform, and we then get to travel the world
as a team. That is actually really cool. I did not know that.
Which is awesome. So I was the baby sister, and since winning that years and years ago,
it's 2016. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was. Although it feels like a lifetime ago.
It's a pretty long time ago now.
Yeah, like it feels like ages ago. I'm like 25 now. Like, woo. Yeah, so I got to go to like Vietnam, Cambodia, the Philippines with them, and to this day I still speak to them every single day.
Amazing.
And when I went on like personal holidays to Europe, I caught up with like Czech Republic, and I've literally got a girl in 70 countries, like a friend.
That's so awesome.
Which is incredible. And like people are like, yeah, but you don't talk. But I do think when you go through something like that and you're up at 4 a.m. and you're at bed at 11 a.m. with your feet swollen sitting in ice buckets because you walk around in heels in the heat all day, you do bond, and you do, you have to get out of your comfort zone, and you live with someone. I wasn't allowed to see my mum, and the organisation actually said to me afterwards when I placed really well, they said, we were really shocked at 19. You were the youngest girl by like 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
They really wanted to test me, and they thought at some point that I was going to break and want to go see my mum. And she was there the whole time in her room, not once. And they were like really shocked that I didn't. They pushed and pushed, and he said to me, look, I did push you.
You want to go see your mum?
No, they pushed me like up early. For some reason, I was always up the earliest, always down the latest, trying to see when they would break me. And like our interview, which is like the most important, one of the most important parts where they get to know you, mine was in the middle of the night. I just went to bed. What? They told me interviews were finished. And then I get a phone call to the room. Get up, get dressed. I'll see you in the lobby in 10 minutes.
Are you serious? It's like
and I was half asleep doing my interview. And they were like, you showed up. All the other girls, you showed up. You tried. You put yourself together. You had 10 minutes. You were down there. You were in your heels. You were in your dress. And you answered everything that we asked of you. You obviously get a second interview. But
but that's like a test. But
it was a test, and they left me purposely till last that day, knowing I was full well the youngest by many years, expecting me to, I can't do this, or my hair's not right, or my makeup's not right. But
so no one else was called out late at night?
There was some girls, but I was the latest,
And you're the only girl rocked up?
Some girls refused to go, said that their hair wasn't done, their makeup wasn't done, and I was like, nope. They need me. I can't not go.
Yeah. That right there like speaks volumes about you, because it's one of our values is just like show up.
They were like, look, we knew it was the middle of the night. We obviously weren't expecting, when you have your daytime interview, then they're expecting you to look the part, but you still had to look presentable. But you came. Yeah. That was literally the main test. You didn't complain. You didn't say you were tired. You just answered the questions that were asked of you.
Yeah.
And that was it. And you said, thank you. And up you went to bed, and that was it. You got up at the same time with everyone else for hair and makeup the next day and didn't say a single thing and just kept going on.
What type of questions did they ask you in the interview? Or both? Like
it was a blur. Both. It was a blur. Honestly, I was so worried about like being in this strange lobby with this, like this man who was the owner of the organization asking me questions at 1 a.m. and I'm thinking, just don't mess this up. Just don't say something like that you'll regret. They ask like why you want to do it, what your platform was, what got you into modeling. Then they ask if you win, what are you going to do for the year? And then they ask really random ones like to catch you off guard, like tell us a joke. Because your brain's really not thinking about that.
Yeah.
And then it stumps you, or like, what do your friends think of you or would describe you as? Some questions that are not your typical questions. Like you know that they're going to ask you why you entered, what you want to do, what's your passion, what your cause is, or what your like platform is going forward. You kind of expect those questions. But then like the questions with, like, is social media a benefit or
a hindrance.
Yeah. Is it a positive or a negative to have social media? You get sometimes really tricky ones like.
Who would you kill out of all the other girls here?
Or like who do you think should win? Why should you win over the other girls? So you've got to be very careful that you don't put
anyone down.
Yeah, it's easy to put the other girls down because that's how the question is framed.
Yeah.
But it's the way that you answer that. On stage, my on-stage question where you pull it out of the fishbowl.
Oh, yeah.
Was who would you meet from history and why? And I swear I could see my sister's eyes beaming through that auditorium like, do not think, Caitlynn, do not. We've trained on this and you decided not to train hard enough. Her eyes were like in the back of my head. But
what did you answer?
I chose Princess Diana.
Oh.
She passed away the year that I was born in 97, and I don't know, she just really was herself and she stood up for what she believed in, and she really shocked the royal family.
Yeah.
Like she shook it up a bit, and she was just her, and that was my answer. That's who I would want to meet if I could go back in time, and that was just the first person that came to my brain, so I wasn't going to try and make up anyone else.
You see them stumbling, they're like, oh.
And then they'd say something who actually wasn't Princess Diana. It's really awkward, the girls that say like, I want to meet this person because they worked with like AIDS, and you're like, no.
That was the wrong person.
That really wasn't them. So I was like, you know what? It might not be a perfect answer, but it's my answer. And I went with it.
When you won the award for Miss Global Australia, that's a whole year that you had to do with them. Was it a full-time job? Like, are you getting paid for this or? Yes.
So that's why I had to take a forcible gap year from uni.
Okay. This is what loops back around to it.
Yeah. At the time, my course convener didn't think I was taking occupational therapy seriously. I asked for 2 weeks off to go and compete, and I said I will do all the exams, all the assignments on my own. I've organised with the teachers. The teachers were fine with it. And he basically said, no. And my dad went and spoke to him. Yeah, he said, no, like you cannot. At that point when I was going through the course, it was still like a 90% or something attendance rate. And because I was out for 2 weeks, regardless of whether I could do the assignments or not, I wasn't there. So no. And I said, but if a student came to you and was going to compete at the Olympics for their country, how would you say no?
Of course it'd be a pass.
I said, I'm still doing all of my requirements as a student occupational therapist, and I'm going to represent, my country.
Yeah.
In whatever means that might be. And my mean was on a stage, like just because I wasn't playing a sport. And my dad had some very choice words with him, and it was still a no. It was like, you can study part-time, which I was like, well, that's not going to get me any further. I may as well take the year off. Because I couldn't do my placements and stuff. So I had done half the subjects. I could have done half the subjects and then waited and then done the other half. But I thought, you know what? If I'm going to take a year off, I'm going to take a year off and enjoy it. And then I ended up going to Dubai and doing lots of traveling, like in Cambodia and the Philippines. So I did need the year.
Yeah.
But it was just hard that it wasn't on my terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't understand that. So then when I went back to uni after the year, to finish my degree, it was very hard with him. He did make some smart comments at me for a while, and I did have to like reprove myself. And then
that's bizarre
on graduation, he was crying. Yeah, that we were so happy that we were graduating, and I was like, it was like a love-hate relationship this whole time. Like, where are you?
Maybe he was one of the guys asking for your feet, the shoe photos.
Maybe. And I get where he's coming from. He wrote all our textbooks. He's very high up in the occupational therapy world. I get that. He's very, like, to study under him is an honor.
Yeah.
But I also was like, I'm not asking
the world
for any special treatment. I literally, 1 week was mid-semester break. I literally was missing 1 week of classes, and it was a no.
That's insane, because I remember I missed out 4 weeks to go on a tour of Europe and did an assignment in a coffee shop in Amsterdam. It was a 1-pager assignment, and I got a 6 for it.
Ah!
But it was because I don't fuck around. It was project management, and literally it was one page. But again, I did the
that's
work.
on you.
Exactly.
And I was willing to do that.
My teacher didn't. Well, even though we got along, the professor and I, he didn't give a fuck if I failed or not. Like,
well, and that's what I said. I said, look, if I get to the point where I've sit the exams that I missed, or I submitted these assignments and they weren't up to scratch and I did fail, then that's on me, but give me that chance. But
yeah.
Anyway, it was a blessing in disguise,
That's
really.
good.
But yeah, it was just frustrating at the time that he couldn't see like that was still, to me, was just as like equivalent.
Yeah, well, he was in his own little OT bubble.
Yeah, he was. And like I still have given 110% to an occupational therapy role. So
you're Miss Global Australia. So you just do all the touring with the girls.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you had to do? Like, who was your charity?
I had a few. I didn't have one that was like mine per se. I worked with like Make-A-Wish Australia a lot of the time. Give Me 5 for Kids. I had lots of little ones, mostly all kids charities, because that's just what I love doing, like the Pajama Foundation. But I got to attend a lot of events and a lot of balls and like hand out like prestigious awards or give speeches. And it was, it's really cool. Like a lot of the things I wouldn't have been able to do without that title.
And you would have built an incredible network of people across that as well.
So, I definitely have built like a crazy amount of people, and like I always laugh and say like, if I could sell my phone book, I would be very rich, because I do have like a big network.
Yeah. Well, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It is who you know.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that it gets you more opportunities. And I always say like, you never know who's in the room. You never know.
Correct. Never assume.
No, and assuming makes an ass out of me and you, right?
Oh yeah.
So you just don't. And like I've met some people who are like the wealthiest business people who then, you know, help you do charity events or help you fundraise that you probably would have overlooked or, you know, at the particular events, or you meet certain people that know certain people like with the OT world, like that will help you grow that business or be a business coach or make better connections for modeling and like bigger companies, you know, that you've put your face in front of along the way. So yeah, I just think that you never know who is there or who's listening and who's watching you. Like I do think a lot of it is like when people step back from the sidelines and they watch how you engage with people and how you interact when you think that they're not looking.
Absolutely.
Says a lot about a person.
Yeah, well, it's just a reflection of who you are. When your
when
guard is
everything's
down,
off,
you see
people can see.
Correct.
And so I think, like going through and being myself and like being approachable and being friendly or being goofy with the kids has gotten me
that was just
where I am. Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
made me. Yeah.
So now you're on to Miss Universe, Miss Universe Australia, and you're
Team Queensland.
Team Queensland. So is that the same process as Miss Global? Like, how do you even apply for that?
Yeah, similar, but very different. Like I think when you, from the outside looking in, they probably look very similar, and there's like hundreds of different organizations like this, beauty organizations popping up holding these events and these experiences for girls. So from the outside looking in, it probably does look the same, but then when you're in it, it's completely different. Like if I compare the two.
Yeah.
Like, so I applied for this. You had to send in like a self-tape video and some pictures and say like there was a questionnaire a bit about you, and from all of Queensland they then picked 25, and then you go to state finals, which we've had, where you go and do a similar thing. You do an interview, you do a bikini walk, and then they pick who they like. But in the lead up to that, Miss Universe is really different because it's like it's the biggest one.
Yeah,
in Australia, like it's Jen Hawkins.
In the world,
it is. This is it.
Yeah,
this is.
Well, that's how Jen Hawkins' whole career was made.
Yeah, so she won the whole international stage.
Yeah.
And the title. So she, everybody knows Miss Universe and they think of her. So it's an honor to even say that I'm like half in that league, you know, to be competing with girls like that. And to be up to like, for someone to respect me and think that I'm up to those standards is an honor. But it's very different because it's massive. Like I thought my previous one was massive, but this is
next level.
This is massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was picked one of 8 girls for Team Queensland, and we have a week away with everyone, which is like our content national finals trip they take us on, which is usually in Bali.
Oh, how convenient.
But this year it's not, but that's okay.
Where is it this year?
Where it's down at SeaWorld. So we get to go for a week at SeaWorld.
Yep.
Which, even though I grew up there, like we are doing things that I would never have, you know, experienced, like helicopter rides or swimming with the dolphins. Like our bikini photo shoot is throughout SeaWorld, like with the animals. Like if you're in the penguin enclosure, you're not standing out the front of it.
You're in there.
You're in it. You're on the ice.
That's going to be pretty cool.
It's cool. So I just hope I get a really cool animal to shoot with.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting on the surfboard with the dolphins, like things that I would never have done, or like the shark diving, like things I would never put myself to do, I'm going to be doing.
How fun.
Yeah. So it is similar in the regards that you have a platform and you're representing yourself and that company, and you get, obviously a part of it is looking fit and looking healthy in your bikini and showing your confidence in yourself. But the lead up to that.
There's also the formal gowns as well, isn't there?
So you get evening gown as well.
Yeah.
Where you do you'll do your onstage question in your evening gown, because they wouldn't do that to you in your swimwear any more than they
probably
need to.
did in the 60s, eh?
Well, the funny thing was they used to actually, in this industry, when the girls walked out on stage, they used to have on the big projectors the measurements.
Are you serious?
Like your bust, your hips, your waist. And they were going to do that at our last international competitions, and they decided no, that's not what they want to do anymore. Yeah. So you used to walk out not only in your swimwear for everybody to see you or the world to see you, with actual measurements. So if they were looking for particular measurements, like if your bust was too big or too small, or your hips were too big or whatever, even if you looked good in your swimwear, they still had numbers next to you.
Wow.
And your height. And so it wasn't just like Caitlynn Henry and then you'd walk out.
Yeah. She
Caitlynn
is
Henry
a size B.
Yeah, and they'd say it. Yeah. And like she is 5'5.5", and you know, like so it was like wasn't enough to work for like and feel good the body that you were in. It was still like a very traditional comparison of numbers, but they do not do that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So when's your final? It's coming up.
So our national finals, we haven't been given an exact date, but it's at Movie World, which is really awesome, under the main like fairy lights. Amazing. Which is going to be, it's a massive production. They haven't got to have one, obviously with COVID. But I've been to one in the past when my best friend was competing in Miss Universe, and it is massive. They put on like a whole event night. It's like a dinner, a function. It's a function. It's an event. It's broadcast. It's massive, yeah. So it will be the first week of September. We don't have an exact date. But
that's super exciting.
Yes.
I'm sure you do very well, regardless.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for you because, like, again, there's a lot of dedication, commitment that goes into even doing all these things, because you have to be disciplined. Like,
it is hard, definitely. And like a lot of the other girls from Team Queensland, we were talking, saying having a full-time job as well as meeting the requirements for Miss Universe has been like a big juggle. And I often find myself like creating the content, you know, after hours. Like I go to, and I say like my day job
doing the work
is with the kids.
Yeah.
And then my nighttime job is doing and building a brand and creating content for all of the amazing sponsors that we have on board. And let me tell you, there is lots. We're very blessed. I have parcels everywhere from Miss Universe. It is incredible. And you get to make and create content for brands that you may not have ever been in touch with before, cool. Which is really cool.
That's very cool. If you win Miss Universe Australia and then go over to the international event, where's that being held, by the way?
They have been changing it. I think last year was like Jerusalem.
Oh, wow.
It's usually Vegas or like America, but
Yeah.
they do branch out every now and then. So they haven't announced where this year's one will be yet. But that will be like November, December kind of time.
If you won Miss Universe World, what would you do? Like, apart from all your requirements?
What would I do for the year? I feel like that's so tricky because like I envision winning as everyone would.
And partying.
You know, like you envision the celebration and like, oh my goodness, like what that would feel
You're
like.
literally being thrust in the world stage though if you did.
Well, and that's what they say. Like they say they're looking for someone who is amazing and who knows themselves, because the very next day you are on Channel 7 with the morning show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Channel. Is that channel?
Well, anywhere.
Yeah. The morning, like you're literally
next
on the
day.
couch and they need you to go and they need you to be prepared. You know, they can't coach you every step of the way. That's you now on live TV.
Yep. Wow.
That's you. So that's what they're like. We need someone.
And would that mean
who
you
can
having
talk and hold a conversation?
Finishing up your job, your current OT job for a bit? And
I think I would try, even in that year, build. My goal would be to, you know, to represent my kids as well as build my own brand even more.
Yep.
And having that title and having that backing makes it.
Be able to launch you.
Yeah, it literally launches you into a whole nother world. Like some of the past girls are now the E! News host Australia.
Yeah, wow.
Or are like ambassadors for companies and spokespersons and writing books, and like that is now their brand is their job. And that is like, I would love to take my voice to that level and just, you know, like show people like, yeah, I did it and you can do whatever you want. And all the winners are so different with what they've decided to do and what their voices are. But I do think it would change my role as an occupational therapist because I definitely wouldn't be based in Brisbane as much.
Yeah.
Where
would you be based out of then?
Melbourne.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd be back and forth from Melbourne and Sydney, and that's just because the companies that we work with on if you do win Miss Universe are based kind of down there. So they need you, you know, you take on the role and that's your job as well, is being there for them and doing their shoots and being a spokesperson and attending their events and things like that. So you kind of have to be back and forth.
Yep.
But I would try and hopefully keep like a sum of my kids with me and do them like via Zoom or come back every fortnight and see them and do some face-to-face, because it does really bring like it. Yeah, I feel like
it makes you so happy. I can see it.
Like it's literally
out
like
of you.
like your soul. It's tough. Like it's so hard, but like the good days outweigh the bad tenfolds. Like it gives you a purpose in life, like to know that you are making a difference in someone else's life, and someone like another family's life is just, you know, crazy to me to think that one little person is doing that. And I've got 55 families. So I'm making
that's insane.
Like a massive, you know, massive change. And that's all what I've stood for from when I was little. I just want to grow up to be someone who's going to go out and change the world and going to make it a better place and is going to change as many people's lives along the way as they'll let me.
Well,
so
that is 100% going to happen. And I think that's almost like a perfect time to wrap it up. Like,
yeah, that's me.
Because the whole point of this podcast, again, is to inspire people to see where people have come from to where they are now and try and fill some of those gaps along the way. And I think you definitely have here. And I know that everyone's going to be fucking super excited for you. And when you're at the Miss Universe finals, I know I'll be super pumped and cheering you on. If someone wants to find you on socials, what are your socials? So
my socials are simple. I'm pretty lucky with my unusual spelling. My name is Caitlynn Henry with a Y and a double N, and that's it. All the socials.
Amazing. And if you haven't checked her out, jump on all of her socials. I'm sure. Have you got a website?
No.
Oh my fucking God, you need to get a website.
I do. I've just got lots of things going on.
And check her out and make sure you're following the Miss Universe competition to see how she goes. Caitlynn, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. It's mine. And I really look forward to seeing you grow over the next year as well, no matter what the outcome is. And hopefully we'll get you back on in like a year's time and catch up and see what eventuated, regardless, whether it be through your business or whether it be through you winning Miss Universe and going to the next level.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to come back on and continue sharing my journey with everyone. So.
Amazing. Cool.
Thank you.
That's right. And that's a wrap.
Woohoo!
Yeah.